Most people think karma is about getting what you deserve. What you put into the world is what you get back. But if that were true, life would look very different. Good people would struggle less, and destructive people would thrive less. There seems to be a discrepancy. Either karma is inconsistent or we're misunderstanding what it actually is. And if we're misunderstanding it, then we're also misunderstanding how our lives are being shaped. Karma is not a scoreboard, nor does it keep track of your behavior in some cosmic ledger. It's closer to momentum and your actions than judgment. Every thought, every reaction, every repeated pattern leaves an imprint, not out there in some vast space, but within your system. That imprint influences what you notice, how you interpret certain situations, and what you're drawn toward next in life. So karma is not something that happens to you. My belief is it's an energy you are in a continuous relationship with. If you've spent time observing your own mind in silence, you start to see the truth directly. You notice how certain thoughts come back again and again, even without external triggers. You see how emotional reactions loop, sometimes for years, even when the original situation is long gone. That's karma and energy in motion, not as punishment but as a simple continuation within life. It's the tendency of energy to follow the path it already knows. So here's where I think it gets more interesting. Most people are trying to change their karma by changing their worldly actions, but they leave their inner state, often untouched. Not everyone, but most of us. They act differently on the surface, but we all know internally we're still reacting from the same place of pain, sadness, hurt, or whatever it may be. So the pattern doesn't actually break, does it? It just changes form. This is why people feel like they're doing all the right things, but still ending up in the same types of situations. What shifts karma isn't behavior, it's awareness and intention. This might sound overly simple at first, but stay with me for a second because this matters. Human beings are incredibly good at recognizing patterns. The moment awareness enters the picture, and you genuinely intend to change, something subtle begins to happen. You start noticing the pattern before you automatically react to it. Before, the pattern carried you unconsciously and without control. Now you can actually see it unfolding in real time. At first, the shift is small, almost easy to miss, but it's powerful once you recognize it. It feels like stepping out of a fast-moving river instead of being dragged by the current. That single moment of awareness changes everything. It puts you back into your seat of power. Real transformation begins there, not through force, not through some mystical performance, just through clear, conscious interruption of the old pattern. Clean, quiet, precise. Around this point, you may be asking a deeper question. If karma is momentum and it's something we can't avoid, can it ever be fully stopped or controlled? And the answer is simple. Karma and the energy around it will never stop, but it can change and it can be redirected into something far more positive. It never happens overnight, but it is possible. It doesn't change by trying to erase your past or fix every pattern one by one. It's far less complicated. You just need to add awareness to what you would like to change and have the intention to show up. The less unconscious reaction there is, the less continuation there is. And over time, that creates space where something new can actually emerge. As you're exploring this more seriously, you'll notice it's not about controlling life. It's about understanding the mechanics behind your life experience. That's where most teachings fall short, because they give you ideas instead of direct observation. If you want a grounded entry point into this kind of work, there are a couple of free guides at the6secondsage.com that connect these patterns to daily habits in a very practical way. It's not a theory, it's something you can actually test in real time. Now here's the part that most people can miss. Karma is not just tied to what you do, it's tied to how you perceive different situations or events. You may have noticed this yourself. Two people go through the same event and walk away with completely different imprints. One might experience fear, the other may receive some sort of clarity. Same external event, completely different internal result. So the cause is not just the action, it's the interpretation that follows. Perception can become the real leverage point. When you begin to perceive or simply watch your reactions as patterns instead of truths, you stop reinforcing them in the same way. You're not suppressing them, and you're not indulging them. You're observing them, finally. And that observation changes a habit's trajectory. Over time, the pattern or unnecessary habit loses strength because it's no longer being subconsciously repeated. At around this stage, something else starts to happen. You begin to notice that life itself will often reflect your internal state, but not in a simplistic, think positive and good things happen type of bullshido way. It's more precise than that. Your internal patterns shape what and who you engage with, what you pass by or pay closer attention to, and what you amplify throughout the day. So your experience becomes a mirror, not of your desires, but of your habits, perceptions, and tendencies. This is why people can't outwork their karma. You can push harder, try more, and change environments, but if the internal pattern is still running, it will find new ways to express itself. Different faces, same structure. And that's where frustration builds, because it feels like life is repeating itself for no reason and you seem to never get ahead. But there is a reason. It's just not visible until you slow down enough to see it. Here's the deeper shift, the one that I came to around 5 or 6 minutes into real contemplation on this subject. What if karma isn't something to escape but something to understand so completely that it dissolves on its own? That changes the entire approach. Instead of trying to fix everything, you start watching more closely. You become less reactive, more aware, and over time less entangled. This doesn't make you passive. If anything, it makes your actions cleaner. You're no longer acting out of habit or emotional residue. You're responding from clarity after perception. And that kind of action doesn't create the same kind of momentum. It's precise, it's intentional, and it doesn't linger the same way. That's where karma begins to lose its grip, not through effort, but through understanding and acceptance. Another layer to this is the body itself. Patterns don't just live in thought, they're stored in our nervous systems. Certain reactions are automatic because we've been through something that reinforced our reactions physically, not just mentally. This is why practices like stillness, breathwork, and quiet observation really do matter. Check out the website if you want to go deeper. The link is in the description. This is also why I started this channel. These are not spiritual trends. They're ways of interrupting deeply embedded loops that we all have. If you sit long enough in silence without trying to control anything, you start to feel these patterns as energy, not just simple thoughts. There's tension, movement, resistance. And when you don't immediately act on them, they begin to shift. Not instantly, not dramatically, but gradually. That's the unwinding of karma at a deeper level. The work we do internally is far more direct when dealing with karma and the energies surrounding it. Most people never stay long enough to see this. They touch the surface, feel discomfort, and return to distraction. But if you stay, something changes. The patterns that once felt solid start to look almost mechanical, predictable. And that realization creates distance, not separation from life, but from the automatic loops that we're constantly running each day. Later on, this becomes even more subtle. You begin to see that even the idea of you reacting is part of a pattern you created. There's a sense of identity tied into these loops, and as they loosen, that identity starts to soften. Some may refer to this as the ego death. This isn't something to chase. It happens naturally when observation becomes steady. And when that happens, karma doesn't just weaken, it becomes irrelevant. Not because it isn't important, but because you no longer live within the continuous loops and habits that once controlled you. Have you ever felt moments where everything is just clear or crisp feeling, with no internal noise and no pull to react? That's a glimpse of life without carrying a heavy karmic burden. There's a kind of quiet precision to it. Actions can happen, but they don't carry the same dreadful weight. Experiences come up, but they hit differently than before. As this stabilizes, life doesn't necessarily become easier in a conventional sense, but it can become lighter. Situations come and go without building the same residue. You're involved but not entangled. As I have said in many of my other videos, we need to protect our energy. When you do, it changes everything, not because life is different or you are being harsh, but because your relationship to it is fragile and must be tended to with care. Somewhere in the final stretch of this, you realize karma was never a system judging you. It was simply a pattern that continued itself through you. And once that's seen clearly, you stop taking it so personally. You still act, you still engage, but there's less weight behind everything. Less resistance, less friction. If this type of perspective is landing for you, and you want to go deeper into this topic and others, visit the website. The link is in the channel description. It takes this from understanding into direct experience, and it helps to allow me to continue to create videos for the community with a different perspective. Just like this one, this isn't about thoughts and theories. This is about actions we can take immediately. People have been connecting and understanding like this for many years. We just lost our way a bit. The deeper truth is simple, but it takes time to see, so please be patient with yourself. Karma and energy aren't something you fight or escape. They're something you grow and develop with through awareness. And the moment you start seeing clearly, even a little, the entire system begins to change. Not all at once, not dramatically, but in a way that sticks. Thanks for watching, mystics. See you again soon.